Hey guys, in case you missed Sunday's announcement, there are some changes that you need to know about when it comes to our Sunday worship gatherings. And so let me show you. Okay, so when you walk in, one of the first things you're going to notice is that most of the tables are gone. We do have tables alongside this wall. We're asking people to keep these tables available for families with children, or for maybe people who have, because of health conditions or whatever it might be, that it might be a little bit more convenient for them to actually sit at these tables. But for the rest of us, this is what we have. We have 3 sections of seating, and 2 sections have multiple rows, but we're looking at 8 seats per row. And let me tell you, it looks good from up here. I'm excited about this. And so you have section 1, section 2, and then section 3 over here. These 2 middle sections here have 8 seats per row. And then the 3rd section over here next to the windows, we have 6 rows, and the seating varies from 4 all the way in the back. I think that's where Chad likes to sit. And we think one of the rows we might have 7 seats in them, for a total of 146 seats. Prior to making this change, we were able to sit roughly around 100. We could have squeezed in 120 with the setting as it was, but now we can get in 140. We have 143 seats, okay? So yeah, there it is. There's our new seating arrangements. Each row is still 6 feet apart from head to head. There's 6 feet, if more, not more, between the rows here, the aisle here, between these tables and these rows, and between this row and the 3rd row on the other end. And the same thing goes with each row consecutively. Okay, so there it is. With that being said, we'll also talk about communion. Remember I mentioned we're going to have 5 communion stations. And so here's what's going to happen. You have a station right here, and this is typically the way it's going to look. You're going to have your basket with, here's going to be the basket where the bread's going to be. You're going to have the fruit of the vine, and then a basket for the offering. And so you have a station here. We have a station directly across the other way. We have one back here, which is by the sound booth. We have another back along this column here, and we also have one in the middle of the windows here. Okay, so again, all the setup is the same. Communion bread, basket with the bread, still in the little baggies, and a basket for the offering. Under each table, you're going to see garbage cans. There's 2 large garbage cans back here as you exit. We bought those inside the worship center here, one there and one on the other side. And so essentially, let me get back up here and show you how this is going to work. So there's going to be a specific time slot in which we do communion. There'll be multiple things that are happening during that time. Either it's singing, scripture reading, videos, things that are specifically to help you focus your mind on communion. We'll have normal communion thoughts, and then we'll ask you to, between this time slot, to get up and take communion at your own convenience. And we'll ask you to basically go to the station that's closest to you. And so people sitting on this side, especially towards the front, this is your station right here closest to you. People obviously towards the back, station there. People in this row, both people towards the back, they have station there, station here. People closer here, obviously you can go to this station or that station, and then this side, the same. All right, I think that pretty much covers it. Let me look at my notes. And so, yeah, let me get this thing set up, and then I'll share a few more thoughts with you. Okay, as I mentioned, we have 5 stations, and communion is going to be taken between a specific time slot where specific things are going to be done, singing, we're talking scripture reading, videos, things that are just going to help you focus your mind, be intentional about communion during that time, but you're going to take it at your convenience. We don't want everyone to get up at once. We're asking you to be patient. Listen, you will be able to see, okay, when is a good time for you to get up, and in fact, which station you need to go to, which one's closest to you. There's plenty enough stations and space, so there shouldn't be any kind of gridlock. This should, theoretically, this should run pretty smooth, and there may be some hiccups, and we'll work those things out as time goes on. But there's gonna be plenty of time for you to get the emblems and take them. And so what we're asking you to do is to simply go to whatever station that it is, to grab the emblems. You can give your offering during that time as well if you're giving physically in the basket, and then take those emblems back to your seat and take them there. And then when you leave worship that Sunday, just take the empty cup and the bag and put them in the garbage. There's, again, garbage cans next to each station, and then we have 2 larger garbage cans as you exit the facility. And so, again, take it back to your seat and throw things away when you're done. And then let's talk about the offering real fast. You're going to drop your offering if you're going to put something in the basket during that time. And then when we wrap up communion time, we're going to give thanks and we're going to pray over the offering that is given, okay? A couple things we'll ask you to do. Take note of the people around you. If you're sitting closer to someone who might need some help getting communion, don't hesitate, please, to ask them if you can help, if they're comfortable with you grabbing the emblems and bringing them to them. Of course, if you would prefer someone else to grab the emblems for you, please don't hesitate to ask someone who is closer to you. Let's all just keep an eye on one another, and if it's obvious that someone might need some help, or if you think someone might need some help, please ask them. Let's serve one another in this way during that time. So yeah, there are the changes. Seating arrangements and communion. Be patient as we kind of work through this. We'll maybe work some kinks out. I'm sure there's inevitably going to be some things that will potentially go wrong, or maybe not as smooth as we would theoretically hope they would. Let's talk about the governor's announcement now. Essentially, with the announcement the governor made, which goes in effect, today is Tuesday when I'm creating this video, goes in effect tomorrow, Wednesday. Essentially what's happening is that every organization, every business, every entity basically has the power to choose what's the right thing for them to do. They're not being told what to do. And so that's essentially what's happening there. We're able to decide for ourselves what changes we want to make, where we are, what needs to happen. You need to know that the changes that were taking place right now were changes that were planned out at the end, towards the end of last year. Okay, we have a plan of how we're going to navigate our way through this and come out of it on the other end and continue to make progress. And so these changes are not based on what the governor said. These changes are based on what we perceive as what's best for us right now and the little steps that we can take. And again, these are baby steps. Look, we have a path that we're going to go down, and this is like the first cobblestone. This is, the first brick in the path. This is the first step that we are taking. So keep that in mind. We have plans, and we're continuously working on those plans, making adjustments as we see fit. But ultimately, in the end, we're being extremely intentional about what we are doing. Now, at this point, we are still asking you to wear a mask. When you walk in, when you get up, if you're seated, you don't have to wear a mask. You do whatever you feel is comfortable for you. But in consideration of everyone, we're asking you to continue to wear your mask as you come in and as you walk around the facility. But if you're sitting down, you don't have to wear your mask. And so, still wear your mask unless you are seated. And just know that we're taking baby steps. We're taking baby steps because we want to continue to make progress. And at the end of the day, I'd much rather make progress and us begin to do things slowly than for us to have to quickly remove the things that we have done or the progress that we have made. Okay, so let me wrap this up for you really fast. We're still at 2 services. That hasn't changed. Those are conversations that are going to be had in the weeks to come. We're still asking you to wear masks. That hasn't changed. Again, those are conversations that we're having and we'll continue to have as the weeks to come. So continue to wear your mask unless you're seated. The only things that have changed are our seating arrangements and then basically how communion goes during that time. Okay, so one final thing. Please continue to be patient with us and with one another. Thank you for how you have responded thus far to our process and to the progress that we have made and to the decisions that are being made. Even people who disagree with what we're doing, who would rather us move a little quicker or even move a little slower, have all responded positively, saying that they understand, they realize the difficulties that come with making these types of decisions during this time. And I tell you, hearing that sort of thing, it's very helpful. It's very comforting knowing that people have confidence in the decisions that you are making. And so thank you for how you've responded to this. Continue to be patient with us and with one another. It's my hope that we can make changes soon, even more, okay? But just know this, that we're going to be extremely intentional about what those changes are going to be, and we're going to make those changes when we believe that it's the most appropriate time. So there it is. Changes coming this Sunday. Hope to see you then. Grace and peace. Talk to you soon.